Hello, this is Kathy Schricker with Avalon Risk Management, your premier provider of insurance and surety solutions for the transportation industry. In our last episode, Michael Brown discussed domestic surface freight forwarders and how they differ from brokers. In particular, he addressed the fact that they are subject to Carmack liability and talked about what this means. Today, I will discuss the process of registering with the FMCSA as either a property broker or domestic surface freight forwarder. I will also cover the FMCSA's Uniform Carrier Registration Final Rule, published earlier this year in the Federal Register, and what brokers and forwarders now need to do to keep their registrations from lapsing. Once you have made the decision to become registered as a property broker or domestic surface freight forwarder, the process can be done either by mail or online. By completing the steps online, it is estimated that you can receive your authority and begin conducting operations in 2 to 3 weeks less time than if you choose to apply by mail. It is important to note that if you are applying online, this requires use of a valid credit card, and the legal name of the applicant must match the name and address on the credit card. If you will be applying by mail, please note the different mailing addresses depending upon the type of payment and mail delivery method you choose. There are 6 steps to the registration process, which I will now outline. Step 1 involves submitting your application for operating authority. This is done using the OP1 form. Step 2, once your application has been processed and accepted by the FMCSA, you will receive a grant letter. If you are applying online, you would immediately receive your authority number and the grant letter will be subsequently mailed to you. If you are applying by mail, you can expect to see the grant letter in approximately 4 weeks, and not until that time would you have access to your authority number. Please note that although you have received an authority number, this does not represent operating authority. You may not begin operations until you have received a certificate, permit, or license, which will be discussed in Step 6. Step 3. When the grant letter is mailed, your application for operating authority will be published in the FMCSA Register. This begins the 10 calendar day protest period. During this time, the public can file a protest with FMCSA indicating why they believe this entity should not be given authority. If any protests are filed, FMCSA should provide the applicant with information. You need not wait for this 10-day period to conclude before continuing on with the other remaining steps in the application process. Step 4. Anytime after receiving your authority number, you may work with a surety bond or trust fund provider to secure financial security in the amount of $75,000. Evidence of this BMC 84 or BMC 85 is then filed with the FMCSA and must be done within 90 days of the date of publishing in the FMCSA Register. If this time frame is surpassed, your application will be automatically dismissed. Step 5. Applicants must designate a process agent using Form BOC3 in each state where they have a physical office or established contracts. A process agent is a representative upon whom court papers may be served in any legal proceeding. An entity may act as its own process agent if an office is maintained in that state. It is important to note that a P.O. box does not constitute a physical office. For a fee, there are companies that will act as your blanket agent in all states. You may refer to 49 CFR Part 366 for more details on process agents. The applicant or process agent must file a Form BOC3 within 90 days of the date of publishing in the FMCSA Register. Again, if this time frame is surpassed, your application will be automatically dismissed. Step 6. After Steps 1 through 5 have been approved by the FMCSA and the protest period has passed without any protest surfacing, operating authority is granted. This is done in the form of a certificate for motor carriers, the form of a permit for domestic surface freight forwarders, or the form of a license for a property broker. Only after this official record is received by mail may an entity begin operations involving this authority. On August 22, 2013, FMCSA issued a final rule on the Unified Registration System. This rule amends FMCSA's regulations to require entities, including interstate motor carriers, property brokers, and domestic surface freight forwarders, to submit registration and biannual update details via a new electronic online system. This system will streamline the process of registering and act as a clearinghouse and centralized location of information. This final rule stipulates that all regulated entities update registration details every 24 months. However, certain changes require immediate updates within 30 days, such as changes to a firm's legal name, address, or form of business. FMCSA will use the U.S. DOT number as its sole unique identifier. The Unified Registration System will discontinue issuance of the MX, MC, and FF numbers for entities registering with the FMCSA. Several provisions in MAP-21 impact the implementation of the Unified Registration System. Many of the statutory provisions will require notice and comment rulemakings as they are not self-executing. Starting on November 1, 2013, FMCSA will begin issuing warning letters 30 days prior to the biennial update deadline. If the entity fails to comply, its U.S. DOT number will be deactivated. In October 2015, the remaining provisions of the Unified Registration System are planned to take effect. This is provided that the FMCSA has had time to sufficiently prepare the new website. In our next episode, we will talk about MAP-21's impact on motor carriers. Thank you for watching.